Welcome to the presentation of this BOM template for Glide page. This app focuses on the BOM simplified management. It can be useful for small businesses that need to draw up a bill of materials and components used to produce an end product or an assembly. The main purpose of this template is to offer two main results. The first is to quantify the cost of an item, which is given by the total of raw materials and other components that were used to assemble it. The second is to keep all the stock under control. In this demonstration, a fictional company produces various types of droids. The selling price of a droid is variable because it is calculated according to the cost of its components. Thus, for each end product, there is a manageable list where all its components are shown. You can click on an end product to show its details. Let's begin to see how easy it is to record the production. To load an end product or an assembly, simply click on the Produce button. This button becomes Restock if it is an inventory of the raw material. Enter the quantity and then click on the Produce button. If it is a raw material, the loading process is the same, but the purchase price can also be specified. Each time a production load or a stock is performed, a line is stored in the load register. When it comes to an end product or an assembly, all the components that were used to produce the item are also shown in the table. Let's go back to the detail screen of the Explorer droid and see what else is possible. We can see its bill of materials. And even more, we can navigate on the BOMs of its components. We can go very deep until we reach the level where the raw materials are positioned. This is a raw material and of course does not have a BOM. This type of product is positioned at level 99. Let's go back to the end product, observing the various levels of the intermediate components. The end product is positioned at level 0, so it is at the top of the hierarchy. You can change the bill of materials of any item at any time. To change the quantity in the BOM of a component, just click on the Change button. To remove it from the BOM, just click on the Remove button. Choose Add Component to add an item to the BOM list. Define a quantity and then choose a component to add. You can also select more than one at a time. We now have new components in the BOM of this item. Remember, in this app, a bill of materials cannot contain more than 10 components for each level. There are 99 levels available, numbers starting from 0. Each item has properties that can be changed by clicking on Edit. Let's focus on the part number field. This has a particular property. It can be left empty, but if it's defined, then it should be unique, so not used in another objects. Let's check this control function by trying to assign the same code to another object. Continuing from where we were, we can see here the cost calculated from the last production of this object. And just below, we can see that there is a markup field where it is possible to define a percentage that represents the gross margin of the company. This is the percentage that will form the selling price of this object. At the bottom of the screen, appear the progressive of stock. As we have seen, the cost of an end product is given by the sum of the costs of its components. But a component that is in the bill of materials of an end product can be itself composed of a set of components, and therefore also for it the cost will be formed by the total costs of that set. Imagine how far we can go, since this app can manage up to 99 levels in a bill of materials. But what happens when the cost of a component changes? Let's take an example with a simple item that we have in the Items tab, a sheet of paper. As we can see, in its BOM only wood is included. Some ounces are needed to produce one sheet of paper. Let's go and change the cost of the raw material. The cost of wood is expressed in hundredweight. Let's increase it. Now the app tells us that one or more components need a recalculation of the production cost. If we click on this tab, we have to find the sheet of paper. Let's go and see if it is there. Here it is. We found not only the sheet of paper, but also another component, the temperature detector. This happened because the temperature detector has wood too in its components. Updating the cost of production is a trivial thing. Just click on the element. By clicking on the sheet of paper, it disappears from the list to indicate that its production cost has been updated. What happens if I click on the temperature detector? It happened that the temperature detector disappears, but other items appears in its place, those that have a BOM that includes the temperature detector as component. Let's click on them to update their production costs. The change in the cost of a raw material can have a significant impact on the BOM because a raw material is positioned at the level 99. Therefore, it will have an effect on the calculation of the cost of production of all components that are at a numerically lower level, until level 0, which is that of the end product. Let's try to change the cost of the silicon, which certainly impacts the most on our bill of materials. We have a longer list this time. Pay attention to it. The components that the app suggests to update first are proposed at the top of the list. Okay, here with a few clicks we have updated the production costs, not only of the end products, but also of all the components where the increase in the cost of silicon has impacted. Let's go and see the other tabs now. Items. It is the list of all the objects that are in the app. Of course, clicking on an object displays its detail. Here, there is a filter that offers us the opportunity to select only the items that belong to a certain level. Inventory. Here the items are presented with the inventory quantities and the last loading date. It should be noted that in this list there are only the items that make sense to exist in the preparation of an inventory. The other items are listed in out inventory. The appearance of items in either list is determined by the value of this switch. As I said at the beginning, this app can be used in different operational contexts. To adapt the app to your specific needs, there is a function in the menu called Classifications. Let's see it. Under each single classification, the items that are included are listed. Classifications have modifiable parameters. There is nothing particular in the classifications of brands and categories. There is only the icon and its name. Both, of course, can be changed. But in the classification of the type there is something more. The type determines the level to which the items belong. Here you specify whether the items are recognized by the app as end products, raw materials, or as components if both switches are left off. The classification of units of measurement is also particularly interesting. Here you can determine which unit of measurement to use for the loading of the item and which for the unloading of the item. This is done by setting an equivalent value between the first and the second unit of measurement. That's all. If you need more information about the logic of this app, you can find them here. I'm Roldi and you can contact me anytime for this template. Thank you for watching.